question regarding lodge soil. I'm growing on slightly clay sand, open field, standard 30-inch raised bed, about 8 inches high at the beginning of the season. Wow, that's a high raised bed, especially for Israel. Added about 1.5 inches quality compost in September, tilled it in until 2 to 3 weeks ago. All was going well. Great beets, lettuce, baby greens, radishes, but it has been raining very heavily the past 2 to 3 weeks. Rain of biblical proportions. That's a lame joke. But it's been, that's my joke, by the way, not Yanni's. But it has all been raining very heavily the past 2 to 3 weeks. 200 mils, damn. And the soil has been very waterlogged since. Daytime temperatures 10 to 12 C. Nighttime 4 to 5. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, you were smart to raise those beds, man. I didn't know you guys got rain like that out there. The field is very slightly sloped, and the beds are generally perpendicular to slope and don't drain quickly. Yeah, all baby greens production is now very slow, but many looks bad. Thin leaves and brown gray spots, which I suspect is a result of water saturation. Absolutely, 100%. Also, it's also a result of fertility being washed out of your beds. I'm thinking for next season, I'll probably change the direction of the beds to drain better, allow for flow of excess water, but I think that if we continue getting such heavy rains this year, it won't help and the soil will saturate anyways. I don't think that poly low tunnels will manage to keep the soil dry. I'll probably put up some caterpillar tunnels, but wonder if you have another solution. Should I do something with the soil? Is this situation familiar to you? By the way, I'm seeding the greens, arugula, etc. with the earthway and the radish plate, as that's what I have at the moment. All thoughts, any thoughts appreciated. Yeah, so I think you're doing everything that's right. I think it's a question of greenhouses, really. You know, the problem with changing something like the aspect of your beds is that typically Israel is a dry place, right? Typically, for most of the year it's dry. Well, I've never been there, but I know that for most of the year, most of the time in history, it's dry. So I don't think changing your bed orientation is going to make a difference. Well, it could, but then what if it goes back to really dry and you want to use that for some of way to hold water better than opposed to drain it off. So I wouldn't go there. I think you're 100% right in getting greenhouses. You know, one thing, we did a video from the field here, I think it was in August, maybe it was September, with Ray Tyler, and he showed how he converted his caterpillar tunnels to shed water. And so what he does, he put the caterpillar tunnels up, and then where the caterpillar tunnels end, he dug trenches at a really gradual slope out to an area and the whole a bigger path to drain water. And so what he did was he dug those out and then filled them with thick wood chips. And then the idea is that when it rains, the water sheds off the tunnel, goes quickly to the ends outside of the tunnel, and goes out and away. And then he had sort of a greater. We also did a video on Ray's farm drainage system here from the field that explained it even further. But you know, I think it's like, I don't want to say in times of climate change, because the climate's always changed, but that's really what it comes down to with farmers, is that, you know, shit happens with the weather. It's always going to be man against nature in that way. And I don't like to think about that we're against nature. I would try to live within nature as much as possible. But at the end of the day, a big bad rainstorm is going to screw you over, and it's going to screw over your crops. So you need to protect yourself and your crops. So I think greenhouses are the best way to do it. I've said this many times before. Number one thing you can invest in on your farm is greenhouses. They're going to give you the fastest return, and you can get as advanced as you want. But the great thing about caterpillar tunnels is that they're quick and dirty. You know, you can get two guys can get a caterpillar tunnel up in an hour, and that's a 100-foot tunnel. So, and I've seen it, I've done it. So it's worth the money. And it's a faster and cheaper way than investing in expensive high tunnels, but high tunnels are great too, and high tunnels give you a great return on investment as well. But nothing that I've seen gives you the best return on investment as far as money in to return out as inexpensive greenhouses like Caterpillar tunnels. So I think that's what you should do, is get more Caterpillar tunnels and go with that. Because listen, you're already into your season. So if you go and start reorientating beds, well, then you're going to halt production. Whereas you can go get some Caterpillar tunnel kits now and get them up now on top of crops that are already in the ground. So I think there is no really better solution than that.